Hi, this is Todd with Choice for Christ Ministries. Today is November the 9th, 2009. Quickly, I'd like to state that everything in this video is 100% my views, my beliefs, and my opinions only. With that said, we have got quite a news report here to go over. And President Obama, talking a couple months ago with the GLBT group, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, at the White House, and we'll go ahead and read over what the Associated Press reported on June 30th, 2009. Washington, D.C., President Barack Obama says that while he's dedicated to expanding homosexual rights, many Americans still cling to what he calls, quote, worn arguments and old attitudes, end quote. At the White House celebration of Gay Pride Month, Obama said he hopes to persuade all Americans to accept homosexuality. Quote, there are good and decent people in this country who do not yet fully embrace their gay brothers and sisters. Not yet, end quote, said the president. Quote, that's why I've spoken about these issues, not just in front of you, but in front of unlikely audiences, in front of African American church members, end quote, he said. Obama acknowledged that many Americans still disapprove of homosexuality. Quote, there are still fellow citizens, perhaps neighbors, or even family members and loved ones who still hold fast to worn arguments and old attitudes, end quote, he stated. He added that Congress should repeal what Obama referred to as the so-called Defense of Marriage Act. The audience at the White House ceremony included Episcopal Bishop Gene Robinson and other homosexual clergy. Obama introduced Robinson as a special friend. Same thing, a very interesting poll here. Over 37,000 people participated as to what President Obama was referring to when he knocked, quote, old attitudes regarding homosexuality. Well, out of 37,000 people, 5.3% said he was referring to laws and policies on marriage. 24.4% said he was referring to traditional values. 70.2% said he was referring to biblical values. You know, I am not racist, nor am I a bigot toward any group whatsoever, nor is anybody else at the Choice for Christ ministry. But about 8 to 9 months ago, our president, President Obama, got up and told America that we were no longer a Christian nation, that we were a nation made up of Buddhists, Muslims, Christians, atheists, non-believers. In that statement, the president is absolutely correct. But what I believe he failed to tell the American people is that it is by the very Christian principles that we live by that has held this great nation together for so long. It is by the very God and Christian principles that our founding forefathers sought diligently and built this great nation upon. It is our forefathers who rooted this great nation in and upon. God has blessed this nation to be the most strongest, fiercest, and most richest nation on the face of the earth. And sad to say, now we can no longer say that. Because America is not what it used to be. And maybe we as a nation are just turning from the Christian principle and away and turning our back on God and turning our back on the Christian principles and morals that has held this nation together for so long. And now it's losing its roots. And to my opinion, that's why God has stopped blessing this nation. Because people seem to be turning away from God and trying to solve things on themselves instead of turning to God for answers. You know, and like I said, I am not a racist nor a bigot for any group whatsoever. But how far can we go? You know, when I could step outside and there's a parade with homosexual flaunting their homosexuality over celebrating over a same-sex marriage in some state that was legalized, and I have a 6-year-old child ask me why 2 men are kissing, because the same-sex marriage was legalized in that state. And it's legalized in several states and pushing to go federal, nationwide. And I find it appalling that I could turn on the news and find out that our children can no longer say mom, dad, father, or mother in school no longer, and that they have to be educated and adapt to this new alternative type lifestyle. And God laid out in the Bible and in the Christian principles that it's not the homosexual or the person, not at all. It's the continual, habitual practice of homosexuality is what God says is wrong. How can our own president want and hope to persuade Christians and non-Christians to accept something that God says is wrong? The God of Christianity, anyway. Now, I understand, and President Obama has every right to be of whatever faith he so chooses to be. Every American has that right. And I believe him to be of the Muslim faith, as he's openly shared now. And I don't know what the Quran says about homosexuality, or none of that. I don't know what it says. But I know it's 100% opposite what the God of Christianity says. If our own leader is pushing this and wanting to persuade Americans into accepting something that God says is wrong, you know, how far does this go? Till we become Sodom and Gomorrah? Or have we become worse than Sodom and Gomorrah and just awaiting God's judgment? I don't know. Our president knows that in the Christian faith that the continual habitual practice of homosexuality is wrong. But for him not to care and hope to persuade all Americans into accepting it shows me a lot. And it should show you a lot. Whether you're a Christian or not, it should show you that he just may not care about American people's values. Because it sure shows me that he doesn't care about my values as being a Christian. It shows me he doesn't care about the Christian faith whatsoever. How far is he going to drive? How far is this nation going to turn away from God and the Christian principles and the morals and the values? I don't know. I don't know, but for the president to want to persuade anybody into accepting, hoping to persuade or manipulate or whatever he wants to do, for President Obama to want to do that, to persuade any American into accepting homosexuality, regardless of what your core values may be, regardless of what your beliefs may be, should show you a lot. Because really shows me a lot. Sure in the hell shows me a lot. And I am just outright just not only offended, but I gotta say it is so demoralizing to this nation as it continues to fall, not just economically, but even morally. And where do you draw the line when man's law crosses God's law? I don't know. For me, it draws the line in the sand right there, right here, right now. For any of you who want to pull this article up, you could Google it. OneNewsNow.com has it. WorldNet Daily has it. And you can find it on the internet. And so, but anyway, this is Todd with Choice for Christ Ministries, and may God bless you.